Since the early 90s, most tunnelling projects have been of a design and construct nature, so the contractor was ultimately responsible for the design. Marc's book, Tunnelling the World, was really the catalyst for everything. He outlined a very simple and digestible way to design steel fibre concrete. That really inspired me to use steel fibre design at the Heathrow baggage tunnel in 1994.
Let's say that for that first project that we were very keen that it should really a success economically and technically, because in fact it has been the start for using more and more fibres in this kind of applications.
Yes. So we use steel fibre for the precast concrete tunnel lining, and also steel fibre in the four shafts that were required. The combination of manufacturing our own tunnel linings and the use of steel fibre concrete, and I think quite an efficient design, the market price for the segment was twice what we eventually were able to make the rings for. So this was a massive saving to the project, and probably explains why we were able to win the project. The standards were very high, and the rings were manufactured to a very high tolerance, and really proving that the benefit that if the mix is right and the fibre distribution is correct, it's comparatively simple to manufacture high quality products. Even in 1994 we realised that steel fibre concrete had a lot of advantages over bar reinforcement, not least in spray concrete. Spraying around steel reinforcement continues to be quite a challenge. If we can squeeze some more performance out of steel fibre design, which we definitely can with these new generation of fibres, then we have the potential to substantially reduce or eliminate bar reinforcement. And that's got to be beneficial from a cost, time, quality, safety point of view.
UK has always been a leading market for fibrous concrete, but Italy was interesting, France, Spain. I would say when you look to the countries who are promoting fashion, new ideas, well, in those countries they took much easier up the idea of introducing a new concept than in the more traditional ones. Okay, we had, Norway, who was a leading country for shotcreting, but in Europe we mostly have started in the southern European countries, but also in the UK, and through UK we did very nice jobs in Hong Kong, also in the mining sector in Australia. So in fact, step by step, we got more and more markets to start, mainly the countries who have a more open mind were much more interested in trying something new.
Generally the projects that we have to build in this country, the bending moments and axial forces combine such that steel fibre concrete, particularly with the latest fibres, are adequate to resist those forces. In sprayed concrete, as we found on the Crossrail project, huge amounts of reinforcement are still being incorporated around the openings, and this is definitely an area that we need to challenge. In fact, at the beginning of Crossrail there was quite a battle to actually persuade the client that the mix of steel fibre and bar reinforcement was a very bad idea, and in fact to properly encapsulate the steel, in my personal opinion, they should have hand sprayed around the reinforcement, but robot spraying was used, and as a consequence there were a lot of defects. And in fact, one tunnel had to be condemned at Crossrail because of exactly that problem. All expert tunnel engineers would agree that if we can, the next step is to try to get steel fibre performance to a level that we can remove reinforcement around the openings. The spraying around reinforcing bar, particularly for very large tunnels where the bars may be 25 up to 40 millimetres in diameter, it's extremely difficult to properly encapsulate that steel. Potentially leads to long-term quality problems and abortive work. And over the years we have tested pretty much all of the fibres on the market and have always come back to the high performance of Beckart fibres. And the latest fibres, the 4D fibre and the 5D fibre, particularly the 5D fibre, is a game changer. It's a strain hardening material where we can now have, with some confidence, the ability to calculate crack widths, which for permanent works design is absolutely essential if we want to take the fibres into account in the long term.
when you have in standard reinforcements such a difference from the single to the double between the reinforcement in UK than in Germany, so that means that also for traditional for traditional elements, the way of designing is not so common, it's not so easy. Designing for someone who wants to use steel fibrous concrete, that the tools are available to make the design. And maybe the applications are becoming more complex than in the past. At the start it was just easy floor slabs. Nowadays, when we are talking about segmental lining, there are already more complicated, more complex applications, because safety is a much more important issue than just for a floor slab. But I feel comfortable that when someone who wants to use it, he can use it, and when he says I don't have the tools, it's because he's not interested in using that material. We have to give tunneling a better reputation, because now they say there is light at the end of a tunnel, but means that in a tunnel you feel uncomfortable. No, a tunnel is a fantastic invention. So there is no light at the end of the tunnel, there is light in the tunnel.
There's going to be lots of holes dug in the ground and lots of tunnel engineers required.